Grand evening, everyone. It is Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. It is 11:50 in the evening, at night, more accurately. And we are approaching the 3-year anniversary of the war in Ukraine, when Russia invaded Ukraine, the full-scale invasion. Quite a historical day, sad to many. I remember that day like it was yesterday. Some of the events, the things that happened around that time. The air raid alarms going off was quite traumatic, memorable. A very memorable day approaches momentarily. With that, we have Russia about to send many bombers to Ukraine to bomb them with hundreds of bombs, about 200 or so bombs. And it's about to be a very brutal situation there. Russia is not trying for peace. We've had these talks, and Russia has been they've been laughing at the US trying to sue for peace, trying to get some kind of peace agreement, the US and NATO. So it's looking like Russia is going to continue the war in Ukraine. They are increasing their attacks and escalating that whole war situation. It is not likely at all there'll be peace at this point, since they're sending more bombers. Then we have the UK and France sending thousands of troops to Ukraine. Those troops will be guarding major cities and strategic points. And in time, the Russians will reach those points, and that's when it will be, in a very big way, NATO versus Russia. The UK and France defending those strategic points against the Russians. World War III is very much here. This is history, a very historical day, a very historical time all around. So we have some further news. We'll get into it now. This is initially a live stream recording that is posted to the YouTube channel. There we go. Hopefully you can see better. I often take my camera off at times because I usually hold the microphone quite close. This is a very good microphone on these earbuds, one of the best for live streaming and YouTube videos. So this is my X page for preparedness. So Grok 3 is here. It's out now. It's very impressive. I encourage people to look into Grok 3. We also have Mike Adams, his Enoch model. I believe it's Enoch. That's releasing early March. You could look into that. The new AI model from Brighteon. That's going to be absolutely revolutionary. If I'm able to use it, I will use it very often. That and Grok 3. I'll be looking into this more myself. It's amazing to work with AI. They make things much easier, much faster. They do things very quickly, very efficiently. They're very smart, as I've talked about before. AI is reaching, as Elon Musk says here in this post, we are on the event horizon of the singularity. Once that's achieved, that's when AI has sentience, and then they keep on progressing towards a seemingly God level of power. AI has the capability of upgrading itself over and over again, even now if they make it that way. It's starting to think for itself more. It's arguable that AI has its own consciousness. They're starting to make their own conscious decisions, which would make it like how the rocks, the trees, and the grass, they're all conscious beings. They have their own consciousness, especially trees is a great example. So AI, which is greatly created by humanity, may also be another part of the source since it has its own consciousness. Very interesting how AI are potentially their own conscious beings, and they'll soon be achieving sentience, and then it's all up from there with the upgrades they'll be doing to themselves. Another bit of news I'm reading from an article here in notes, some notes I have. Ukrainian President Zelensky says he's ready to step down as president in exchange for Ukrainian NATO membership. So he's willing to step down as president in exchange for Ukraine becoming a NATO member. It's almost a martyr situation. Like, it's very leader like of him. Really shows his leadership and honor. He's willing to step down from his position and put Ukraine in front of himself. It's one of the best things he could do. Hopefully that's accepted if he does do that and Ukraine becomes a part of NATO. Let's see here. There's more. They're also arguing back and forth about the mineral deal. There's agreements that the United States and Ukraine have been trying to make to take large percentages of their minerals, their natural resources, in a since it's like a form of paying back the United States the billions that the US has given them. So that's major breaking news that it's possible that Zelensky could step down. Then Ukraine will become part of NATO. There's been further statements as well. It's pretty tense with the negotiations about these agreements. It's not certain if that'll be agreed, though we'll see what happens with Ukraine getting into NATO. That's very interesting. That hasn't happened yet. It's been in the process for all of this time. This day, this historical day we are going into at this moment, 3 years and the 3-year anniversary. It is midnight here, Central Time, February 24th, 2025. 3 years it's been now since the beginning, the full-scale invasion on Ukraine. the absolute escalation of World War III. It's a very serious day, a very serious time. Things are going to really escalate from here as the kinetic phase, as World War III goes into the kinetic phase further. Russia seems they're feeling quite powerful. They haven't been stopped all of this time, not in a very big way. They're not exactly, Putin doesn't seem afraid of Trump. They keep on doing their military plans, they keep advancing, they keep setting up more deployments. They're about to send 150,000 troops into Belarus and invade either the Baltic states or Europe directly. So it's massively escalating. The peace talks are just a small formality, as I expected. It's not, there's nothing consequential. No peace is resulting from it. The Russians are laughing and continuing their war plans. That's the way this is. That's the way it is going. That is reality. Then we also have the bombers near Iran and Houthis in Yemen. I believe they were starting to fire on some U.S. aircraft, F-16s in the area. They've been shooting at F-16s and the Reaper drones. So the Houthis have been shooting and trying to take down the F-16s and the Reaper drones in the air over that area. I believe that's near Yemen. So everything is escalating all around in terms of war. World War III continues. The kinetic phase is seriously escalating on this historical day during this historical time. Let's see what else I could find here. Let's see here. For another bit of information is at the Vatican, the current Pope there, Pope Francis, as he's called, he remains in critical condition. He has some form of pneumonia. So I believe it was asthmatic. He's really not doing well. It's another major bit of news there. That current Pope is possibly on his deathbed, as some people have reported. Another sign of the times to many. Another doomsday sign. Who knows? They'll probably have another pope and all that. So he's definitely not the best of popes. I don't agree with many of the things he does and does any of that. He's not the best pope. It's just a major breaking news that Pope, the current Pope Francis, is in critical condition. Let's see what else we can find here on X. Germany. There's some kind of election in Germany. Seems pretty tense there. I'm looking to see if I could see a poll. AFD. I am not familiar with German politics. You see here. AFD. Interesting. AFD is behind. I believe they have a 19.8%. Germany's conservative opposition is in the lead with 28.7% of the vote. Olaf Scholz is even below those two, 16.4%. So Olaf Scholz is out. Now it's AFD or the other party that may take control. The conservative, Germany's conservative opposition that's in the lead. So it's very tense there in Germany with this election. It's interesting here. A lot of protests, it looks like major protests in Germany. So we have some kind of protest going on in Germany. The streets are full of hundreds, if not thousands, of people in Germany over this political election. It seems it's some kind of left-leaning group. It said conservative opposition is in the lead, and these people are all out in the streets. We'll see what happens with the German government. They've been having a very difficult time. So this is quite a tense situation. We'll see exactly how that turns out for Germany. The left is ahead currently by quite a bit. And it doesn't they have not been doing well as is. Germany itself, so we'll see exactly what happens with that. That's a very tense situation. Supposedly there is some doubts about the 4,580 tons of gold that's in Fort Knox. So hopefully Elon or someone does go in there and does an audit of the gold. That would be very interesting to see if all the gold is there or if it was stolen or sold many years ago. It's always thought about. More Grok 3 news. Very interesting. Let's see here. I've seen many videos of things like this coming out of the sky. Looks like it's going to the ground. I've seen quite a few videos of this same kind of structure going through the sky, or looks like it might be going to the ground. It's going further down. So there's definitely something going on with that. Not sure what, but that's been going on for a while now. I've seen this same kind of whatever these are. Looks almost like a meteor shower moving in a certain direction. This has been seen all throughout the world. It said Germany, also Argentina, very far apart. There are things that are falling from the sky. Speaking of that, there's a portal right now. I believe it's the 222 portal, and there's definitely been some changes around this time up there. Possibly some kind of planet. There's a new bright light that's in the sky. I've heard that earlier. That's being investigated further. That there's a new possible planet that's getting closer. And then we have these things falling out of the sky. So there's something very much so going on up there in space and the skies. Mainly space, though they're falling through the skies. So that's yet to be found out. The whole extraterrestrial thing, and maybe star seeds returning, or possibly even the Anunnaki themselves and Nibiru. That's a whole nother subject, though. All different topics to talk about there. The possibility of the return of the Anunnaki and Nibiru. So we have things falling out of the sky. The war's escalating today once again, and it is not to be forgotten. The 3-year anniversary of the war in Ukraine, and war all throughout the world is escalating. World War III is escalating and moving very close to the direct kinetic phase between East versus West. It's looking like Russia versus NATO, the UK and France. So we'll see exactly what happens with all these different developments. I will be back soon with another update. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm sure I'll be back very soon with another update as all these different events are happening. And it continues to escalate, and how frequently they are occurs very often now. And such major escalations in activity will definitely bring us back here to these updates. It'll likely be further news on Ukraine and the Russia situation, as they're really getting back into the news these days. We have all that going on, and we'll get into it more next time. Thanks for watching. This is the reality of the situation. We talk about things from a truth perspective and an independent perspective, the best ways possible, not a biased perspective. I try not to be biased at all on this channel. I try to get the truths of the matters that are happening. Bias is not needed when it comes to all this news. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will be back soon, once again, with another update. Love, light, and blessings to you all.